Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm making a very strong and confident claim that all good human beings are potential Muslims. They only need to be presented with the message of Islam properly, and they have a serious potential of entering the fold of Islam. The reason behind my confidence is that the Quran presents its message in a way that it appeals to human intellect. It invites the reader to use her intellect in order for the person, for the reader, to understand the Quran, to critically examine the contents of the Quran, and to see for himself, herself, if it is consistent, has no contradictions. And if the honest conclusion of the reader is that there aren't any inconsistencies, then it has to be believed in and acknowledged that it is from our Creator. So the invitation to have faith extended by the Quran is not blind faith, is not based on some understanding that is shared by a group of people, a nation, a tribe, or a religious sect, which has to be acknowledged no matter whether it makes sense or not. The Quran invites human intellect to ponder, reflect, and find out whether what the Quran is claiming is making sense or not. The other thing that the Quran does is that it mentions that all teachings of the Quran, all expectations of the Almighty are based on human nature, nature which all humans share. So, why would an individual who is uh, a good individual, a good human being, has a sound intellect which he or she uses properly, and has a good nature, has not caused his her good nature to be spoiled, um, to be damaged, to be rusted. Uh, Such person would most certainly uh, accept the message and would decide that this is from my Creator, and I want to be a part of the faith, the religion that it's inviting me to. But why does it not happen? I mean, if my claim is correct, then we should see all good humans converging to this faith. What are the barriers? Well, essentially, there are two barriers. One category of barriers are the ones which the individual has, and the other barrier or barriers are what are caused by the people who believe in this faith, who apparently acknowledge that Quran is God's word and it's to be believed in and followed. So the first of the barriers which prevents an individual from considering the claim, the invitation of the Quran seriously is the barrier of prejudice, bias. All humans are biased. Muslims are biased. Non-Muslims are biased. There is nothing wrong with being a biased person, a prejudiced person. Basically, prejudice and bias are the result of our emotional attachment to our ideology, to our tradition, to our religion. We have all been designed by the Almighty to be born to different regions, different families, and as a consequence, our Religion of birth is different. Some people have no religion because their parents don't believe in anything. So that's the starting point. It's quite natural that a person is biased. However, sometimes this prejudice is so deep, is so strong, that it actually is another form of arrogance. Arrogance takes over when a person refuses to listen to the other point of view, and as and when he or she feels that the other view is making sense, is getting more and more clear, the individual just refuses to listen to uh, that view with an open mind. That's what arrogance is. So there could be natural prejudice which a person has, and as I said, there's nothing wrong with it, or there could be an exaggerated prejudice which takes the form of arrogance, which actually is arrogance expressed in the form of prejudice. That's the barrier on the side of the individual who is invited to have faith in Islam, but is not inclined. But there are barriers from the other side, the side of the Muslims. The barrier from the Muslim side is the barrier of poor presentation. The poor presentation of Muslims could take different forms, could be because of different reasons. Uh, it could be because of poor, bad behavior of Muslims. You know, if a person is morally not acceptable, what he's doing is immoral. You can see the person is cheating, he's lying, he's causing harm to others, he doesn't make fair statements, he's not doing his job properly, he's not reliable, etc. How can anyone uh, be inclined to believe that his faith, his religion, his narrative is correct? Add to it the problem that if you come to learn about the fact, imagine putting yourself in the position of somebody else, that he finds out that the person who claims that he has the ultimate truth with him is the same person who has gone against others because of his faith. And at times he's gone as far as threatening their lives, their property, their honor. There's no way that a good human being would ever accept any such claim, any claim coming from such person that his religion is from God. So poor presentation because of bad, evil behavior of religious people is what causes many potentially good human beings to not enter the fold of Islam. Likewise, there is unwise presentation which some people make in the name of Islam. They're somehow after others to convert them. I find some people standing in the streets and telling people that why don't you become a Muslim, distributing to them pamphlets, etc. People don't come to the markets to have faith, to find out about religion. Religion, its message has to be put across wisely, properly. It's a must. The Quran says, "Ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmah," invite towards the path of your Lord intelligently, wisely. So whenever a presentation is made, it should be made with a view to help others understand that the faith, the religion we stand for is from God. It's actually their faith as well, potentially. A part of this process has to be the willingness of the presenter to respond to questions, respond to criticisms in a way which is convincing, which is polite, academic, decent. So at times, good people don't accept Islam, don't come close to Islam because of the poor presentation made by Muslims, either because of their bad behavior or because of their unwise, um, unconvincing presentation of their faith, of their religion. Therefore, I believe that all good Muslims who are interested in presenting the message of Islam to non-Muslims properly must read the Quran themselves critically, regularly. It is an absolute must, essential. And when they read it critically, as the Quran itself invites us to read it with tadabbur, deep reflection, then whenever we come across an understanding from the Quran in our recent reading that informs us, makes us aware that our earlier understanding was wrong, we must alter it. We must revise it. That's an ongoing process which all good Muslims must keep going through. Our behavior should be good. We should behave with others properly in a morally acceptable manner. People should see from us good manners emerging so that they are impressed by our humbleness, politeness, honesty, etc. And we must invite others wisely. People should not get an impression that there are some people who keep inviting us to convert us. Honest to God, conversion should not be the purpose. The purpose should be only one: to let people know about the message of God the way it is. You've done this, you've done your job. It was the Prophet's, may God's mercy be on him, only task, according to the Quran, to deliver, to convert people, to change them, was not required from him. He was not expected to do it. Innama anta muzakkir. O Prophet, you are only sent as a muzakkir, as somebody who is to remind people of the reality of the message of the Almighty. Lasta alayhim musaitir. You've not been sent to them to force them, to believe or to convert. So, if there are good people around who are not Muslims, and if there are good people around who are Muslims, then there's no way that good human beings would not accept God's message. All good humans are potential Muslims, provided if Muslims behave properly and present God's message properly. And be absolutely clear, every human being has a right to question our faith, to criticize, because so long as the person is not a Muslim, even within Muslims, they have a right to remove their doubts, or else they'll not be able to understand and therefore will not be able to believe. May the Almighty enable us to understand ourselves, our faith, our book properly. May He enable us to present it properly to others and to live our lives according to the expectations of the book.